Good morning. Talk about new lesson, Unit 1, Lesson 4, the importance of sunlight to living organisms. As you know, living organisms are plants, animals, bacteria, and fungi. These living organisms need sunlight, very important to living organisms. Number 1, plants. Plants depend on sunlight to make their own food during photosynthesis process. Number 2, animals. The animals depend on plants in feeding. Number 3, bacteria and fungi feed on dead animals and plants. So animals, bacteria and fungi depend on plants or which previously depend on sunlight to make its own food. Let's know photosynthesis process. What's meant by photosynthesis process? Plants need sunlight to make its own food during photosynthesis process. Plant needs three necessary factors to make its own food during photosynthesis process. Number 1, leaves. Leaves absorb sunlight and absorb carbon dioxide gas from the air. Leaves absorb sunlight and absorb carbon dioxide gas from the air. Number 2, roots. Roots absorb water and mineral salt from the soil. The plant needs sunlight, carbon dioxide gas, water and mineral salt to make its own food during photosynthesis process. These factors react together and produce plant food as sugar or starch. Plant food is sugar or starch. Number 2, oxygen gas. That plant needs three necessary factors: sunlight, carbon dioxide gas, water, and mineral salt, and produce sugar or starch as plant food and oxygen gas. We use oxygen gas to respire or breathe. Plant also breathe and the animals breathe oxygen gas. Plant need carbon dioxide gas during photosynthesis process to make its own food, but breathe with animals oxygen gas. What is meant by photosynthesis process? Photosynthesis process, it's a biological process that takes place in green parts. Because these green parts contain green plastid, which absorbs sunlight to make its own food. Again, photosynthesis process, it's a biological process that takes place in green parts of plants to make its own food. That plant need three factors: carbon dioxide gas, sunlight, water and minerals from the soil. To make its own food is sugar or starch. Now, with experiment to prove the importance of sunlight for green parts. Bring 2 flower pots. Each one contains a green plant. Cover one of them, number B, with sack. This sack with hollows to let the air pass. Leave these flower pots for 2 days and water them regularly, that you take water and carbon dioxide from the air, and you prevent sunlight from this plant. After 2 days, that you can see number B is weak and yellow, but number A is strong and green. Number B that doesn't absorb sunlight. So it's green, number A green, because it's absorbs sunlight. That's conclusion. Sunlight is very important to plants to make its own food during photosynthesis process. To detect starch, we use iodine solution. This iodine solution changed into blue color. Yes. What's meant by photosynthesis process? Photosynthesis process, it's a biological process in the green parts of plants to make its own food. Green plants need carbon dioxide gas, sunlight, water, and mineral salt, and make its own food, which is sugar or starch and oxygen gas. Now, living organisms are classified according to their feeding into three types: producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers as plants. This living organism can make its own food by absorb sunlight during photosynthesis process. Give reason: because or due to presence of green plastids. The green plastids absorb sunlight and make its own food. Examples such as green algae, green plants, some types of bacteria. These living organisms contain green plastids, so can make their own food. Okay, number 2, consumers. These animals or living organisms can't make their own food due to absence of chloroplasts or green plastids, such as cow, sheep. It's depend on plants directly to feed. But lion and snake indirectly way. It's feed on another consumers. Number 3, decomposers. Decomposer living organisms can't make their own food by themselves due to absence of green plastids. That it's decomposed or by decomposing dead body or food remains, that get their food by decomposing dead body or food remains. Such as what? Such as some bacteria, that as types of bacteria as yogurt bacteria, and some types of fungi as yeast fungus and bread mold fungus. Bread mold fungus it decomposed bread to get their food. Okay, now what is the importance of decomposers? Help us to get rid the organism's dead bodies and the plant remains. Okay. Number 2, increase the soil fertility. Used in a lot of industries. Okay. Give reason. The bread mold fungus is a decomposer because it gets its food by decomposing bread. Okay. Another question, give reason. Consumers and decomposers can't make their own food due to absence of green plastids. Okay, I finished lesson.